My ex-wife still keeps trying to get back together with me, and our daughters want that to happen too. Doesn't really sound like a big problem, right? Yeah, well, while I wish I could just plain tell her to piss off and never bother me again, there is the matter of us having 2 daughters and sharing custody, so I can't excise her from my life on a permanent basis, not without removing our daughters too. We married fairly early in our lives, back when we were 20, and we had been dating for 3 years before that. Our daughters were born in the very first year of the marriage, and there were some complications which meant my ex-wife would have difficulty conceiving again. Didn't matter to me at the time, because I was just glad she made it healthy and fine through the whole ordeal and that we already had 2 beautiful baby girls to love and raise up. The marriage lasted for 9 years. Ended when I divorced her for cheating. I have absolutely no tolerance for it, and I don't believe in forcing myself to suffer needlessly for shit that wasn't my fault to begin with. While this might sound incredulous to some folks, any love I had for my ex-wife was pretty much killed when I found out about her cheating and the details behind it. So yeah, this isn't a threat about me moving on from her. I've done that 7 years ago. Hell, I don't even hate her. I just don't give a damn about what goes on in her life unless it concerns our daughters. The problem is that it's only me that moved on from the whole thing. The ex-wife, her family, and even our daughters have kept trying to get us back together, even though I have made it plain for everyone that I have no interest of ever doing that. Me not dating at first for a few years after the divorce might have been giving them false hope, but I sure as fuck wasn't going to jump into another relationship so soon after, not with our daughters to look after. They were my number 1 priority, besides my own issues which stemmed from the ex's cheating. Those issues, by the by, got resolved with the help of friends, family, and some counseling, so yeah, that's over and done with. I have no issue in communicating with our girls, none whatsoever. Anything else? They can understand it just fine. There's never been any fighting, no yelling, no nonsensical teenage rebellion, thus far, no tantrums thrown and so on. Pretty great, right? Except this whole thing, they know about her cheating on me, and it was their mother in fact who told them about it, some 3 years ago or so. I imagine she's been feeding them some kind of bullshit since then, and I've asked her countless times to stop with it, that it wasn't helping anyone, that it only prevented them from moving on, but the ex-wife didn't stop. She apparently just got subtler about it. In all the years since we divorced, she hasn't dated or slept with anyone else. While I suppose she thinks that admirable, I don't. To be honest, I find it kind of insulting. When we were married, she fucked someone else, but now she's just fine going without sex for 7 years? Whatever, not that it matters. While I could ignore the occasional mentions of their mother, of how well she looks, of them showing me photos they took with her, obviously all dolled up for my sake, it's gotten worse lately. Why? Because I have a girlfriend. Clemence is not the first since the divorce, but she is the most serious relationship I had since my marriage ended. She also happens to be 8 years my junior. Before getting together as a couple, we knew each other for 4 years through a shared hobby, so basically it was a gradual transition from being friends to being involved with each other. I can honestly say I love this woman. It was a surprise to me when I realized that, because while I didn't really want to admit it to myself, I was afraid for a time that what my ex-wife did to me damaged me on some fundamental level and rendered me incapable of ever truly loving someone else, like I once did her. Initially, my daughters had very little to say about our relationship, much like they didn't comment anything on the previous 2 I had post-divorce. But then they started coming home, ahead of the schedule we set up in advance, and they'd find me and Clemence together, nothing compromising, not sex or anything of the sort. Then came the grumbling, then came the "why is she here?" question, then came "it's not fair to mom what you're doing," as if I was actually doing this solely to spite or hurt their mother. So I sat them down and talked, and I talked and I talked, but they're just not getting it. They simply won't give up on this preposterous fantasy of theirs, where I get back with their mother. Clemence, thank God, has been understanding and isn't upset by their behavior. She's basically saying to give them time, but I kind of doubt that will work. It hasn't so far, so I have no idea why more time would change anything. Anyway, since I'm really all out of ideas, I figured I might as well ask you folks here if any one of you might have an idea how to handle this. Is there even a way, an approach of any sort, that could work on my daughters realizing I will not, under any circumstances, get back with their mother? Edit. More information TLDR wife cheated, became ex-wife. our daughters keep trying to talk me into getting back together and aren't listening to a word I say about it never happening. They started acting grouchy and resentful recently once they realized that my relationship with another woman has turned very serious. Do I play the waiting game and hope they mature past this kind of behavior, or is there something I've overlooked, something I could do to make them understand that even without this person in my life, I will never get back with their mother? Relevant comments. You need a chat with your daughters. You say that whilst your mother and you are good friends, and have worked together to give your daughters a stable upbringing, there is no way in hell you are getting back together. That's something that only now in retrospect became plain to see that was missing. Bottom line is, their mother denied me even the most basic of affections, while giving it to someone else outside of our marriage. To me, that's unforgivable. They don't understand that, they couldn't, not even if I told them, which I rather wouldn't, and how hurtful it can be when you realize that your spouse didn't really give a damn about you all that much. So all this? All the regret and remorse and pining for us to get back together? To me, it's worthless. What's the point? Where was all this supposed love and guilt and remorse when it should have mattered? Update: it's been a while since I was first here, and I was reminded recently that I owed an update to the kind and good people here who helped me with our troubles. A lot of things has happened. Among those things, my daughters actually stumbled across my post. I had no idea they even browsed Reddit, let alone this place. When I came home one day from work, I found them crying. They pretty much jumped me, hugged me, wouldn't let me go, and begged me to forgive them. Sadly, they had read one of my replies, and found out the dreadful extent of my ex-wife's affair, and how much it had devastated me. It took us a while, but we got through it. As a family, there was nothing for me to forgive. They're still young, and they love their mother, who took that love and used it to manipulate them. That's on her, not them. There was some much-needed counseling, but after several months, the woman who was helping us heal and move on has said that nothing more needed to be done, and they should only check in with her once in a while, rather than continue their weekly sessions. We're closer than we were before, but their relationship with their mother has suffered for it, which I think is completely understandable, but I still cautioned them about lingering too much on what she did, since I had gotten over what she did all those years ago. That was something also resolved in counseling, both their own and her shared ones, so it's all behind us now. I had a brief confrontation with my ex-wife about it, and made it clear that she was to not talk about this getting back together nonsense anymore with our daughters. I can't tell if it really got through to her, but my daughters have not been pestered about me since then, or they simply ignore their mother, and don't bring it up at home. Either way, so long as my daughters are doing fine, I could care less about what my ex-wife is doing. Since the situation had improved, things had also become much better between my daughters and my girlfriend, so much that they actually started talking with her, rather than just exchange terse greetings and goodbyes, even occasionally asking for tips on something. Girly stuff, of course, and I can't tell you how much it warmed my heart to see it happening for the first time. I'll admit that also helped me push my thoughts in the direction of proposing to my girlfriend, who had been incredibly supporting and understanding through all of this. We had known each other for a long time now, spent so much time as a couple, and after all this mess, I didn't really think there was anything more I could to express my love for her. However, I was beaten to the punch. 2 months ago, Clements, together with my daughters, surprised me one day and proposed to me. I have to say that I felt very odd, but also very happy, not just the proposal, but that my daughters had actually worked with my girlfriend on surprising me that day with dinner and a night out. To put it simply, I was blown away. It was a small and private ceremony, with only our closest friends and family attending. Currently, we're also expecting, and my daughters are looking forward to having a baby brother or sister to spoil. TLDR, my daughters had found my previous post and saw in one of the replies how deeply I was hurt by their mother's cheating, asked for forgiveness. There was no need for it. We worked through our issues together, both at home and in some counseling, and we healed from it, and got much better. Even their relationship with my girlfriend had improved, so much that one day they helped her AR, and a nice night for us, where she proposed to me. We're married and currently expecting, with my daughters eagerly looking forward to having a younger sibling to spoil rotten. Comments. Sophie Exo says, I'm so happy everything has worked out for you and your family. As someone who also has a mother that tries to manipulate and twist the truth for her benefit, I can guarantee you that your daughters appreciate the time and effort you put into helping them, listening to them, and setting the record straight. Nitka says. Remember that their mother did betray them, by going to lengths to use them as pawns, exclusively for her benefit, with no regard for your feelings, their father, who they love. It sounds like they are healing just fine, but they are also entitled to cool off their relationship with her. After all, she took advantage of their love for her when they were most vulnerable, as children under her care. It's actually pragmatic. Strosek says. You are a good dad, and your girls are pretty cool themselves to shake off years of their mother's manipulation so quickly after reading your post. Your Clements is a hero. So many good people in one family. The new baby is one lucky kid to have all of you. You must feel so good to be finally out of the shadow your ex was casting on your relationship with your daughters. Enjoy this, you have more than earned it by being patient with your girls. I wish you all well. Friendly Anon says, what a beautiful update. Your daughter's relationship with their mom might be strained for a while, and it's up to them if they want to forgive her or not. It would be very hard to move past all the manipulation, so if they don't want to see their mom much, don't pressure them to. Her Sanders says, wow, congrats on your situation. You know, actually that confession was the main barrier sitting between you and finding true happiness again. It was the dark veil over everything that was already in place for renewed marital happiness. Now that has been lifted, it comes out pouring. And yes, that also includes your daughters pushing for your happiness. A true sign they have been brought up well, by both parents, so your ex isn't all evil, but she has to go down the path she has chosen, and you are walking that other beautiful path. You made me smile from ear to ear with such a heartwarming story, thank you for that. Layla Boydarden says, just wanted to say how beautiful your response to all of this potentially toxic divorce and co-parenting drama is. Kudos to you, your daughters are lucky to have such an emotionally aware parent. Biolodgerin says, so happy to hear everything turned out so well. And it is all thanks to you OP, because you care and took the necessary steps to heal your family and help your daughters. Reading your 2 posts, I can see you have done a lot of emotional labor and it shows. Have a great life and congratulations.